Welcome back, guys. This is David here at Casino Quest, and these are news stories for CEG. The last couple of weeks, we've been visited by quite a few Patreons, and they've drummed up a few memories that I've had, just by having a normal conversation about different things. And somebody brought up the Peppermill the other day. And by the way, Peppermill, fantastic place to go on the strip, a lounge. I don't even know if it's still open right now. I'm not even sure. But a lot of mirrored lounge kind of thing, great drinks, this type of thing. It's been sort of a staple of Vegas for a long time. And long ago, when I was much younger, I was there with a friend of mine, and I don't remember the circumstances. I know that we would hang out there sometimes earlier in the night. So a lot of the bars here in Vegas used to open up kind of late, like 1 a.m., 12. Well, they would open up early, but they wouldn't get busy till late. This was always known as a really late down. You go to LA and the bars are closing at 2, right? So you get there like 11 or 10, and there's a lot of people. But here, everything stays open so late, a lot of people wouldn't populate. They would gamble and eat, stretching out the hours, and so the clubs didn't get going till 1. So anyways, I'm at the Peppermill one day, and I'm sitting there. I remember just being surrounded by the mirrors. I don't know if it's been redone. I haven't been in there in quite a while, but I was in this one lounge area. I remember all the mirrors, and for some reason, my friends weren't sitting down with me. This guy comes in, and he's waiting for a seat. He's just something where he has to go over to this one little lounge area, and he's with a gaggle of I would say ladies of the night, okay? Because apparently I can't use any other words, but anyways, these were hired help kind of thing, okay? All right, so he's there, and you can tell this guy's got some money. I mean, some serious money, right? Now this is the days before cell phones, and so there was somebody else there, and the next thing is the Peppermill couldn't accommodate this guy or whatever he wanted. He was with this whole gaggle of women. I mean, there must have been 8 or 9 of them right there. Anyway, so while they were there, it turns out, he's talking to them, and the next thing I know, I hear them mention, hey, we can't stay here. Let's go to Batista's Hole in the Wall, which I love Batista's Hole in the Wall, by the way. It's a little Italian restaurant behind sort of Bally's. If you go down the streets, you see it on the other side, across from where the Bally's Sportsbook is, or the Sportsbook entrance is, Batista's Hole in the Wall. And by the way, it's lost its luster. It used to be used to really be a hole in the wall, and it was frequented by a lot of famous people, even Italians. And since then, it's become sort of a touristy thing. So I'm not even sure if it's around anymore. But anyways, Batista's Hole in the Wall was a big favorite spot of mine. Anyway, so this guy is there, and there's all these women sitting around me. I'm just surrounded by this whole gaggle of ladies tonight, and they're talking to me. I don't remember. It was a very long time ago, so I'll be honest with you, I don't remember. But the next thing you know, this guy and all these girls are inviting me to go to Batista's. And I'm like, this is fantastic. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna go, of course I'm going. They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like, I don't have any money, whatever the case is. Don't worry about it, it's on us. And I'm thinking, well, how fantastic is this? I mean, what better spot to be in? It's one guy, it's 10 girls and me. I mean, this could be a luckier night than I thought. So of course, I end up going, there's this big ass limousine. Everybody fits in the back of this limousine. We all go over Batista's Hole in the Wall. And from that point on, it's a complete, okay, in the military, we use a word, it's called cluster F, just so you know, cluster F, and that's the thing. It really was. We get there, they weren't able to seat us or accommodate us very well. We got sort of split up. I ended up with a whole bunch of girls, and they were all a little bit tipsy. I couldn't understand a word they were saying. I didn't get as lucky as I thought I was. And then I ate, and then I wasn't sure how this was gonna get paid, because the guy that invited me was somewhere else, and it actually turned into quite the nightmare. But anyway, so that was one of my pepper. If you ask what happened, I think after that, somehow I ran into my friends. I don't remember the whole thing, but I do know that I left Batista's that night alone and walking back up to the strip to reunite with somebody or do something, I'm not sure. That was the last time I saw those girls and that guy. But that's an example of sort of the odd, miscellaneous things that goes on in Vegas all the time. So who knows? Okay, the next thing is, so I was with some people the other day, and we were talking about the Westward Ho. By the way, I worked at the Westward Ho some years ago. You'd think I've had a lot of jobs here in Vegas. It's crazy how many jobs I've had. People are always afraid, what jobs I haven't had? That's the thing. Do you know that years and years ago, I was actually a tire splitter. I actually split tires as a kid. So iron in the one bin, rubber in the other. I've been a landscaper, a rock wall. I've worked a dishwasher. But anyways, I was also worked at Westward Ho. Right before I was able to get a dealing job, I worked there in chains. I was in the chains department. So this was back before they had the ticket feeders. Everything was slots. You had to feed the coins. And so I was sitting there with one a change belt, heavy change belt hanging down on me. And so the conversation I had with this couple the other day was, okay, so have you seen people win big jackpots and not tip, like literally not tip anything, right? Because some people tip a little bit, some people don't tip so much, some people tip a lot, you know, it kind of really depends. And I remember the one thing that made me really want to quit the whole chain thing, it was so disheartening. There was this one lady sitting on one flippin' slot machine, it was a $1 slot machine, and I had to pay her like 5 times the same day. And by that I mean, there were like 3 times where I had to come up and had her fill out paperwork and pay her out of hand, meaning she hit over $1,200. And then the other times we had to kept filling up this flipping machine with, you know, you had to go out with these big ass bags at the $1,000, or yeah, I think thousand silver dollars. And not real silver, but you know, the dollars that you put into the machine, and fill up her machine over and over and over again because she kept cashing out $1,000. And guess what? The whole time she'd be like, oh honey, oh, thank you so much. And not a single dollar. I mean, thanks is nice. But if you're winning, if you're up 10 grand on a $20 bill, I mean, maybe $1 or $5, something. And I would then walk up, they had this little walk up into this break room, and the casino dealers there would be dumping their tokes onto this little table and sorting them out for themselves. And I was like, okay, that's the job that I need. People that actually toke, win money, and tip. And this lady was literally, she was like one of the catalysts to me actually becoming a dealer, or thinking about it, just putting it in my head. I think that I was an easy target when I finally ended up down on Main Street. But anyways, okay. Another story I have, which I may have shared in the past, was Larry Flynn. Larry Flynn used to come here with his gold wheelchair. He played Big Bach at the Rio. And so I'm talking to one of our teachers the other day. We both worked at the Rio at the same time. And we're talking about sort of the stories that we have. There's a lot of famous people that went to the Rio back then. And so one of the stories that we actually got reprimanded, we had a pre-shift about it, was, so Larry Flynn's brother used to come with this guy named Tom. I don't know if, I'm thinking Larry's still around, Tom's probably still around, but Tom had this girlfriend at the time, and the Rio would sent a limousine to pick her up, and they were late, very late, like not just a little bit late, but like an hour and a half late. And the Rio did not want to lose Tom or this woman, or for that matter, piss off Larry because they were late. So they gave this woman, or Tom's girlfriend, this very expensive necklace worth at least like 50 grand, like a legit necklace. This is back in the 90s too, by the way. And to sort of make up for the late limo ride. And so we heard about this. So the dealers heard about this happening. And I guess someone who worked at the Rio at the time leaked it to the press. And so it became a story, which, as you know, back in the day, the whole motto was, well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And of course, that did not stay in Vegas. The casinos really don't want you to know that they bend over so far backwards, like literally bent over to, help your patron, right? I mean, to help these people, like, because then everybody who has a late limousine is like, well, she got a $50,000 necklace. Where's my necklace? You know what I'm saying? So this was a thing, and I remember we literally had a pre-shift where they were like, listen, what goes on at the Rio stays at the Rio. Like, if you guys deal with these celebrities and these types of people, we want you to keep these stories to yourself. And it's in your best interest, because it was always amazing to me. At the Rio, you would walk through the Rio at the time, and it was like the hot property, like the Cosmo is now, is what the Rio was then. And you'd see a lot of celebrities on the floor, just sort of perchance, miscellaneous happenings. There are quite a few. I mean, since then, of course, I've shared different stories about different things, but there are some stories that I don't share because I'm not the kind of person that wants to put out anybody's dirty laundry, or I don't want to present anyone in a negative light. When people come to Vegas, they kind of let their hair down, they do things they might not otherwise do, and it's not my position to judge them for that, right? So whatever stories I know as far as that goes, those are stories I sort of keep to myself. I think it's better that way, this kind of thing. I know a lot of you guys are always asking me to open up, but it's not a thing. People come here to have fun, celebrities especially, famous people, they come to sort of disconnect and detract from that. And this is a great place to do it, and that's the thing. All right, so the next one is, so the Rio landed a big whale back in the day, and by that I mean a big whale is someone who tips a lot, who plays a lot and tokes a lot. As dealers, we don't care if you play a lot, we just want you to tip a lot. So for us, a whale is just someone who tips a lot. With the casino is concerned, a whale is someone who plays a lot. Someone has a big credit line, $3 million, can put it all on the line and blows money. As dealers, we know that just because you have a big credit line doesn't mean you're gonna tip well, so that doesn't matter to us. So those people who say that a whale, from a dealer's perspective, is just someone who plays a lot of money, I could care less. You could play 3 million all day long. If you don't toke me anything, you're not a whale, you're like a shrimp boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're just trawling the, you know, the ocean floor kind of thing. I don't know. We finally got Kerry Packer. So Kerry Packer was always frequented the Big Hilton up at that point. Big Hilton, Caesar's Palace, and I guess sometimes the MGM Grand. Well, Rio finally landed him at the Rio. And so, you know, to play big Bac in the Baccarat table back there. And we had a dealer that actually got to deal to him once. So Kerry was famous for being a big whale. I mean, he's famous for paying off a cocktail waitress's mortgage, this kind of thing, leaving $200,000 tips. And we knew the minute he played at the Rio, tips were gonna go, oh, fantastic. And they did. We had some fantastic days. You know, we made one day where it's like 1,500, 750. This is just in tips in the 90s, this guy. And of course, so the story is that we have a class at our school, it's about customer service. And you know that if you're a dealer and you're walking down a pit and you have to pray that whenever there's a George, where a guy that you know, George is someone who tips, right? If that George is tipping, you're praying that that George has a dealer who is smiling, who is happy, who is, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, as a dealer, when you're walking down that pit and you see all the frowns and, you know, the dealers that are disconnected, this kind of thing, those are like the worst people. There are people that just don't care. They look angry constantly, no customer service, this kind of thing. And you have to pray that Kerry Packer got the one dealer who, you know, he was gonna like, or hope that you're gonna like. You know, you don't want to be that one dealer that everybody hates. You know what I mean? Who can't make a player happy and get the tokes they need. Anyways, all right. So yeah, so we finally got Kerry Packer and tokes from everywhere. We only had him for 3 days apparently, so that was it. After that, he was kind of done. He went back to wherever he needed to go. Kerry Packer is no longer with us, by the way, and he is very well missed by every casino dealer here in Vegas. We definitely miss the Kerry Packers of the world. The Smith brothers also, famous Georges, famous tokers, that kind of thing. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna introduce is a new series, okay? A new series of Vegas. You guys all like the D-Gen stories. So this is where Vegas goes awry.
What's going on, guys? It's Alex here. We just finished recording our 12-minute challenge. We'd like to invite you guys, anyone that's interested in coming down, you don't have to pay or anything like that. Just come down, join our Discord link, and also join us on Twitch. We stream 4 days a week, live blackjack, live craps, live carnival games. Hope to see you soon. Bye.